Welcome back, football fans. What a week it was in the Premier League, and we've got the weekend. It is finally here, Friday to Sunday. That's what we're going to be covering on this video. We're going to be finding value bets first using this very tool, which I will talk about in a moment. And then we're going to look at the trends pages, which is going to be where we'll set some alerts for in-play live odds movement. And we'll look at over 2.5 goals, maybe BTTS for that one, over 1.5 goals as well, always decent. And then we will talk about football a little bit more at the end of the video, including some of the upcoming games and, you know, the title race, relegation, because a few things have changed in the week. And there's been a few performances, or lack of performances, teams picking up points, so we'll get into that. But first, this tool. And if you've got any comments, any feedback, or any predictions for this weekend, let us all know in the comments. I ran a competition when we hit 10k on YouTube. Thanks again for the support. I said if you comment on this video and you comment on one of the Twitter posts, you'll be entered into a draw to win a year of Odd Alerts Pro, a season ticket it's called. And this is the winner on screen now. So massive well done, congratulations to you. That is a year of Odd Alerts Pro, and also access to the Odd Alerts Lab, which includes this beta product, the new probability page, part of the new up and coming mobile app for Odd Alerts. You can try it right now if you're a pro user. The beta opened last week, and that is what we're going to be using to create the filter for our value bet, and also check the profit, and then finally get some games from it for the weekend. And yeah, let's get started. So we will start with home wins. Seems a good place to start, and this is actually something I put together on the previous video, I think, that announced the beta. So home wins, 50% probability, and this is powered by the probability model on Odd Alerts. It's powered the value betting for the past 2-3 years since, you know, it started, and that's the value that you're allowed to add here, allowed to sort of edit and adjust. So 50% to implied odds is evens. So anything above evens is a value bet. That's just, you know, the fundamentals, if you're not aware. And we're looking here at the opening odds as well. We are choosing Bet365 as the bookmaker, and we're saying that we want odds of 2.5 or more, so we can, and value of 7% or more. You can adjust this and then check the profit and check the feed, and, you know, keep doing that, and it's a nice little thing to do. You can quickly increase your profit from a starting point, and we'll take a look at the profit now. Just refresh this since the last time I ran it, and it is 88 units of profit in the last 60 days. Total of 300 bets and 125 won. So that is an average of around 5 bets per day on this system. Could be more on weekends, of course. You know, that is just the average. And then we can take a look at the feed here, and we'll sort by time. So we'll get games for Friday first, and we've got some UEFA Women's Championship qualification. We've got the Estonian football, Mexican football, Australian football, which has been quite good recently for some of these value betting markets. We've got the Norwegian football, which is back now, and these sort of Nordic countries, Finland as well. These countries are great. I like Danish football as well. Swedish football is good. There's so many competitions in there that, you know, they are quite predictable at times. So feel free to pause, rewind, or whatever, or go and check out this tool and just have a look for yourself. We put in over 2.5 for the odds, right? Some of these are 7, 3.8, 4.33, 2.75, 3s here. And what you can do is click the odds button here, and you'll be able to see a quick comparison of the odds as they are at the moment. And always, you know, shop around if you can, or, you know, once you've been value betting for a while, you will get restricted and banned from Bet365. It's happened to loads of people in the Discord, and you know, you have to try and get on a broker or an exchange ultimately. So if you can get into that pattern, or just look around now whilst you before you get suspended and restricted and stuff on the soft bookmakers, then yeah, you stand a better chance of being able to just seamlessly continue with a strategy. Maybe, you know, not if and when, but when you get suspended and restricted from the soft books. Because they don't like people winning. They don't like people taking money from them. They love it when you give it to them, of course, but trying to take it, not so much. I think Denise, the owner of Bet365, her dividends last year, was it 350 million? Up around 20 million. I mean, they make millions every weekend, and it's just, you know, it's because of the people that bet for fun and bet maybe 20, 30 pounds every weekend for fun. And if it is for fun, I have no problem with that. That's why they're so rich, obviously. But there's, there's people that just bet money they don't have, people that just chase the odds and chase the money, which is not the way you should approach it. You should approach it like an investment, and if it was any other kind of investment, you wouldn't be doing that. You wouldn't be doing it as consistently or as commonly as some people do. You wouldn't throw money away, would you? So they were some home wins. Let's see how they do. And important to note as well, this profit tool is showing the last 60 days. And what I'm going to do soon here is allow you to export all of that data as CSV. I'm going to put some links in for the API so you can actually access your filter without having to set it up on the API. So you'll hit a link and those fixtures will automatically be there for you. I think that'd be pretty cool for people that are looking to automate using this data, which is, pretty powerful stuff as well. And then what I would also recommend doing is going to the downloads page and just grabbing all of the CSV data for 2022, 2023, putting in the same settings and doing whatever you want, because now you've got the data as a CSV. So that's what's coming with the beta. That's what's on my mind anyway. So if you've got any comments, just get them in on Discord or on YouTube here, and I do read every single one. And if I get the same comment a lot, it sort of pushes it up the to-do list. That's how I work. So yeah, feedback. So now we will look at some trends and try and find some games worthy of setting an alert on, and some of them I'm sure will be worthy of a pre-match prediction as well. So, Statman Joe. Hello, Statman. How are you? You got arrested. Well, I told you not to sneak into Stamford Bridge, didn't I? Yeah, it was a good game, yeah. Yeah. Do you want anything? I'm just recording a video. Yeah, I did get the AI song that you sent me. No, I didn't use it as an intro for the video. Why would I do that? It's really not that good. I'm not Alright, right. Yes. I know. Right, okay, I'll play it. I'll play the song. So, here's a song that Statman Joe made with AI whilst he was on the train back from Stamford Bridge.
Now, kicking it old school, about to break it down. Talking about value betting without alerts coming around. Profitable betting systems, making money pound for pound. Betting strategy and tutorials, we keep it all renowned. Every single week, we analyze the odds for you. Studying stats, breaking down the teams is what we do. We got the insights, we got the knowledge, all brand new. When it comes to football bets, we got the right crew. Value betting on football, we're in it to win. Without alerts by our side, we got the ultimate spin. Profitable betting systems, putting cash to the rim. Betting strategy and tutorials, we got the surefire him.
Should it be the intro to the YouTube channel? I don't think so. Maybe we'll get him to make another one. See if he can make anything better than that. I'm sure he can. Here is the Odd Alerts Trends page, and we're going to take a look at it because I said before, we're going to try, before I was rudely interrupted, by the way, we're going to try and find some games worthy of alerts. I'm sure we will. Let's start with over 1.5 goals, and this one is not necessarily about setting alerts on the odds that are there, but the odds that are not there yet. And you can see it is a sea of green, and every single game here is at 100% right now. Even in late stages of the season, we've got teams that have played 14 home games here, and every single one of them has seen at least 2 goals so far. We've got a team at the top on Saturday, 19 out of 19, and odds are available, just not for this market. And they're not available for this market because Bet365 don't want to offer it for this market. And they don't want to offer it because it is at 19 out of 19. But that doesn't mean you can't get value from this market. This will become available if the game starts slow, if there's a lack of goals, red card, something like that, anything like that, and we can capture that value if it does become available. Let's just check the stats and check who they're playing first. So when we dive into the fixture a little bit, just under 3.8 goals per home game, sort of on average for this home team. And it looks like both of these teams are conceding the majority of these goals because it's 0.89 per game in terms of goals scored away from home for Margate. And if we look at goals conceded, they both conceded in 89% of all games. So for this one, we'll just say, let me know if it hits 1.5 and then tell me about it. Usually these will open at around 1.4 when they become available, 1.3 1.3, but it is usually 1.4. So we set the alert and we move on, and what I like to do on this page is go and set a few alerts. So I will do that now. Take a look at the check marks on the bells, and 1, 2, 3. There we go, some alerts set there. Now let's try and look at some home wins again. We found some with value bets, didn't we? And we'll try and find some here. So we've got at the top of the pile Sporting Lisbon with Gyökeres on fire. 13 out of 13 they have won, and they are 1.95 to do it again because they're playing Benfica. Massive game, isn't it? In Portugal, when any of those big teams play each other, to be fair. Total goals on average per game, 4.31 at home for Sporting Lisbon. So I think this worthies a deeper inspection on this game, because I'm quite liking the feeling of an alert on over 2.5 goals here. And a quick look at the probability model as well shows that the home win is at 1.9, so it's actually a slight value bet at the moment if you can get 1.95, evens on Pinnacle, and it is going to be a tight game, you expect. Let's have a look at some of the stats. So we know that they've won every single home game they've played. In terms of goals, they are scoring 3.54 per game, conceded just 10, which is 0.77. They've scored in every game, a clean sheet in 46% of games. That is true for both of these teams, interestingly. And if we just take a look at some of the results as well, Sporting coming into this with, well, no defeats since early December and just one draw, which was on the 25th of February. For Benfica, they have lost only to Porto, and away from home, that defeat might still be fresh in the memory. They'll be keen to avoid another performance like that. I mean, conceding 3 second-half goals at Porto in a 5-0 defeat. These games are massive in these leagues. They're usually pretty good to watch as well. The atmosphere is usually amazing, and I'm sure this will be a good game. I do quite like Sporting, and maybe Sporting and over 2.5 goals if this is a game similar to the Porto game. Let's also take a look at the head-to-head. Sporting 2-1 victory in the previous game. That was a home game, and then Benfica won the game before that, but also a home victory in terms of the fixture. The home team has not lost in the last 4 meetings as I scroll down here, and the last away victory was in 2022, and I'm wondering, no, 2022 wouldn't have been limited fans, would it, due to COVID? So 3 away wins in a row before that, and then 3 home wins in a row. So it is quite inconsistent, isn't it? But one thing that is a theme certainly in recent games between the recent squads is BTTS and over 2.5 goals, and I do like the look of Sporting winning this game, so we might go for Sporting and over 2.5 goals. Of course, dig deeper into the game, search for it on the website, and you can view everything that I've viewed here for free, completely free. You don't even need to have an account to access all of the data on odd alerts. It's completely free and open, and always will be. And to make a prediction, you have to just sign up. Again, that is a free feature. If you rank highly on the charts, you can actually win Odd Alerts Pro. And with that in mind, let's take a look at the rankings as we go into the final few days of the game week, and it is pretty close. Chisini Flani, 14 wins out of 28, so he or she has used all of their predictions. You get 28 predictions per game week. Kesman 11 is a very consistent performer, usually in the top 10% most weeks. He's only used 22 of his 28, and he is in a good position there because the top 5 have used the majority. So let us all know what you think by commenting in this video or by using the Odd Alerts predictions section, and if you do, I'll see you in the leaderboard. Back to trends then, and we will now look at some over 2.5 goals games. Did I say that right? I think I did. Al Nassr on here, Bayern Munich on here. Ronaldo got a hat-trick the other day, didn't he? So he himself got over 2.5 goals. 1.44 for it to happen again. Maybe worth an alert. Bayern Munich certainly worth an alert with the amount of late goals in their games recently and the amount of goals that they are conceding as well. BTTS and over 2.5 goals in recent times. I mean, let's just have a look at who they're playing and what it might mean for the title race. I think Tuchel came out and congratulated Leverkusen, and that is mental. That's crazy to do that. I mean, I know Leverkusen are unbeaten and they look like they're going to just have that mental strength to get over the line, but this is Bayern Munich we're talking about, and the difference in like just the mentality. I think Kahn left, didn't he? Oliver Kahn was like CEO or something there, and they've just fallen off a cliff. I think the culture has been affected at the club, seriously. Even like sacking Tuchel but saying you're sacked, mate, but can you just stay for the rest of the season and just like, we don't want you, you're not good enough, but can you just keep doing it until that's not a good sort of tone, and that is the tone of Bayern Munich all season. I feel sorry for Kane, obviously, but for Tuchel and that to come out and congratulate Leverkusen is quite bizarre for me. Anyway, let's have a look at the data. This is the form of Heidenheim. It's not very good, is it? 1 victory. But a few draws, and they have scored in the last couple of games. Regardless of that, they could have won the last 3, but Bayern Munich still is expected to win every single game in the Bundesliga, apart from maybe against Dortmund and maybe against Leverkusen and maybe against Leipzig sometimes. And for Bayern Munich, you have to actually think, when was the last time this happened? And I don't just mean the general form, but they've conceded 2 or more goals in the last 5 away games. That's crazy. And it's actually 6 out of the last 7 as well. They are just conceding goals for fun. I don't know why they thought Eric Dyer was the answer to their defensive problems. I really don't. They've had injuries to goalkeepers and stuff as well, which never helps. But would you fancy over 2.5 goals in this one? I certainly would. 3-3 in the previous game for Heidenheim. Let's jump back to the trends page and see what the odds were. 1.33, so, tell me if it is 1.5. And I'll go and investigate, go and check it out. Maybe an in-game double of Munich and over 2.5 goals or something, depending on the score. Or BTTS in play as well would be something that I would be looking at for that game, because it's not just that BTTS has happened in-game or over 2.5 goals in-game for Bayern Munich. It's the fact that the games have seen those goals late or in the second half, and the odds have increased to a decent stage. It's the same with like Galatasaray and stuff. For BTTS and winning, they eventually win, but they like to go behind. Celtic and Rangers have been good for that as well. I mean, there's a lot of teams like that, they're the dominant teams, are expected to win, but can they have a slow first 20 minutes? Sure. And we will end this video by taking a look at the games being played in and around England and the Premier League and the Championship and all that good stuff. I mean, the Premier League is incredible at the moment, so these are the games, and I think it's the best Premier League we've had in years, many years, at the top, not at the bottom. I guess but with the points deductions, it's getting a bit interesting at the bottom now, isn't it? But I think for the majority of the season, they seem to be picking up points right now in this moment, but for the majority of the season, Sheffield United and Burnley have just not been anywhere near the quality. Sheffield United, just strange investment decisions in the summer, or lack of. Luton are giving it a good go. I hope they stay up, but it's going to be tough. But the points deductions to Forest and Everton have balanced the game a little bit in this late stage. As we enter April, Palace, Man City. Palace have been a bit of a bogey team, haven't they, for Man City in recent years. And I think this manager might need a bit of a performance for his team. And you never know, the early game, they might just get it. That doesn't mean they'll win, but it might mean that they give City a bit of a tough time. But if Phil Foden is even playing half as well as he's been playing in this game, then he can win you any game. He's a special player, and that is what he can do and will do for Man City, and hopefully for England in the Euros. You've got to just play him in the middle. You've got to play him through the middle. You've got to play Bellingham as well. If Henderson or Phillips start, or even go for Europe for the Euros, you just know the writing's on the wall in it. Southgate's going to mess up this team. We're going to have games with Foden on the bench, Bellingham coming off after 60 minutes or something, and I just don't trust him, Southgate. I guess that's what it comes down to. But back to the Premier League. Crystal Palace, Man City. City have won 64% of their away games this season, and let's be honest, they are favourites for this game, and that is why Burnley is the only victory recently for Palace. And I say that the manager needs a win because I think he really does. They've had injuries, Palace, but are you going to get points or not? Are you going to end the season with Palace fans feeling hopeful for this project under this new manager? Away from home, Man City, like Bayern but not as much, are conceding. The only clean sheet coming at Bournemouth. They conceded at Liverpool, they conceded at Brentford, Newcastle, Everton, Luton, Villa, Chelsea. So not many clean sheets, to be honest, away from home for Man City. So that will give confidence to Crystal Palace, who I believe can nick a goal against anybody, but it's whether they can score that second goal. I do like BTTS for this one, but it doesn't necessarily mean I have any confidence in Palace to get the job done. I can see this being 3-4-1-2 to Man City. I think Man City are coming into a stage in their season which was predicted by many people because They're just too good not to get into a groove and rhythm like this. And it seems anybody can come into this team, whether it's Alvarez or, you know, Foden coming in, De Bruyne being on the bench and then coming in. Bernardo was on the bench for a few weeks previously. Grealish is coming back in now. Doku's playing on the right, which is interesting for how they create chances versus Bernardo always cutting in or Grealish always cutting in. And they're just going to purr, aren't they, in this title race, and should be interesting. So my prediction there is 3 or 4-1 to Manchester City. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now I'll jump ahead here to Everton Burnley. I think that is a very interesting game. The Sean Dyche derby. Don't know why, he doesn't sound like that, does he? You can't do the Sean Dyche voice because it actually hurts to do it. And something else that will hurt Sean Dyche is this form. What a segue. They have not won since the 16th of December, which was against Burnley, who are the opponents here. And for Burnley, it's looking better. It is looking better, but is it too little too late? I said that on the last video before the Wolves game, and you're sort of saying it again. It's like, is it enough? A draw away at Chelsea feels great, but a draw at home to Wolves feels like potentially points lost in the end. It's going to be a challenge for them to stay up, but this is a game where you could see them getting another point, to be honest. Dyche took Burnley down, didn't he? I think that's an experience, and I think it helps managers. Dyche won't be making the same mistakes again that he made at Burnley. You would hope not if you're an Everton fan. It's crucial for Everton that they don't go down, because if they go down, I mean, look at Leicester now with the Premier League, you know, fair play stuff. If they don't come up now, Leicester, it's not going. I don't think it's going to be good for them. I think they're going to have to sell a lot of players this summer if they don't come up. I think it's that bad. And for Everton, if they don't stay up and then fail to come up with a new stadium and all those players that they would surely have to sell, and you know, the financial implications of not being in the Premier League as well, it's a tricky situation. I think the best teams to go down in terms of how well equipped they are to deal with it are the teams that came up. So what do I think about this one? Well, 4s for a draw I would actually quite like if I had some sort of system for draws, but I don't bet on draws that much. It is actually negative value. The draw is 4.12 with odd alerts. I will put it on for my prediction. I like to use the predictions as well for markets that I wouldn't usually touch, but you know, when you do sort of think, well, what if I did do that? That's what you can sort of test with odd alerts, because I can just see this game ending either 0-0 or 1-1, to be honest. Really tight affair. Both of these teams don't want to give the other team 3 points. That's ultimately what it comes down to when it's a game like that. Aston Villa Brentford should be a good game. I would expect Villa to get the job done there. At home, they are looking to secure that 4th spot in the next month or so, and what a season it has been for Aston Villa. There have been some bumps in recent times, 3 defeats in the last 5 home games, but that win against Wolves, kind of a typical win for Aston Villa at home under Emery. Clean sheet, couple of goals, job done. And for Brentford, I think they might just want the season to end. It's not been a great time this year. Defensively, not very good. It has improved recently, of course, and they come into this having drawn with both Man United and Brighton. So they are going in the right direction, although we know, having watched them last year, there is a lot more to them. I think Ivan Toney as well, he knows he's going. He's not really hitting that form. He got in the England team. It's tough. I just don't think Brentford are performing at all this year, and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll stay up. We know they've got those levels. So I would go for an Aston Villa win here, 1.7. In terms of the movement, it was 1.83. Would have been nice to get it at that, wouldn't it? I still would fancy that maybe as part of a double. Now, a potential double could be that Aston Villa victory and then maybe Brighton BTTS with Arsenal, although the last 2 games have not finished BTTS. This is Brighton's home form, and it's actually alright. They've scored in the majority of games, and they've only lost once, so BTTS against Arsenal is looking alright, but you have to take your hat off, and you have to acknowledge Arsenal and their defence. It is just crazy good, and they've got Partey back as well now. They were able to rest Rice against Luton. They didn't need a full-strength team, and they still just got the job done, a controlled performance, and at this stage of the season, Arteta will be absolutely delighted with that. Being able to rest players and put in a performance like that where you keep your opponents at arm's length against a team that gave them a really, really tough game in the reverse fixture. They had to score in the 94th minute, I think it was Rice, wasn't it, with a header or something, away at Luton, and they fought really hard for that win. And this latest win against Luton was a walk in the park. So that was the Premier League for Saturday. Let's take a look at Sunday because we've got an absolutely monumental game. And what I'm going to do is do a separate video for this Man United-Liverpool game because I've just looked at the clock and this one is already 36 minutes long. Obviously, that's pre-edit, but Jesus Christ, I just ramble and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But Man United-Liverpool, really, really interesting game. Man United at the minute, I mean, I'll talk about that in another video, but these late goals must be killing Ten Hag. If he had any hair, he'd be ripping it out. The rest of the day, including a 6 PM fixture on Sunday, is Tottenham Forest, interesting game, the Brennan Johnson derby, and Sheffield United Chelsea, who the celebrations from Pochettino and his team after that Man United win, it was a big win, wasn't it, for their confidence. But I mean, both of these teams, the Chelsea defence was just passing it to Man United all game, pretty much. There was like 4 or 5 moments in the game where both teams, like Man United, were like, "Yeah, Chelsea, just have the ball in our third, and there you go, there's the goal. Good luck, keeper." Like, what was going on? These are professional footballers. The mistakes and the organisation was non-existent, and you know, individual errors as well, but individual errors from players that are supposed to be £120 million, both Caicedo and Enzo, more so Caicedo, and Casemiro as well. He is gone. Casemiro is a shadow of the footballer he once was. I think maybe he's unfit at the minute, but there's moments where he's just not even running. Like someone runs past him and he just doesn't even go to make the tackle or anything. It was bizarre. I'm not so sure Man United will stick with Erik Ten Hag, but I'll mention that in the other video, the separate video that I do on that game. So my predictions, just without going into the stats on this one, Tottenham, as we can see on the stats scroll there, they've scored in every home game. They're playing Forest. I expect that to continue, and they need a win. I think Spurs struggle against certain types of teams, or they're yet to find that sort of plan B adjustment, you know, in game. The West Ham game, you know, they have good spells, but then if you're not leaving them space behind all the time and the other team's just dropping off, it certainly isn't as effective. Spurs, you know, and the way they play, trying to get it down the flanks, trying to hit you hard, you know, quick. Maybe they can keep the ball a little bit better. I don't know what it is, because they're not losing games at the same time. And I have seen them control games earlier in the season where they're winning 2-0 and nothing happens for the last 30 minutes. They're able to just stop the game. But they have struggled in recent times in some of these games. So I would expect them to win, but you know, they don't make easy doing of these home wins. Spurs, they usually go behind or it finishes 2-3-1, so I would expect a similar kind of result in this game. And for Sheffield United Chelsea, I think Chelsea will win, but again, Sheffield United might score. We're having some fantastic games at the minute in the Premier League, and I just want it to continue. I hope it can continue. Sheffield United now, these games and a home game like this against a Chelsea team that do give you chances, like they showed that against Man United. They give you chances. They're a little bit unorganised, to be honest, and they're getting pulled out of it by their forward players, which certainly you couldn't really say at the start of the season. As I said on the previous video, goal scoring is not the issue for Chelsea, but it is at the other end of the pitch. So yeah, I can see BTTS in both of those games, to be honest, or certainly over 2.5 goals if you want to sort of take risk away from that, although you need another goal with over 2.5 goals. And stay tuned for the Man United Liverpool preview as well. I will get that done. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a long one, but you can watch it at any stage of the weekend, I think, and try and get some value out of it. I am travelling for the next couple of weeks, but I'm still going to be working on the site. I'll be in Japan, and I was thinking of doing some sort of live video. Not live, but with a camera in Japan doing previews, because I won't have the studio or anything, so I think doing something a little bit different might be interesting. We'll see how much time I have and stuff once I've finished working in the mornings. And as always, if you've got any feedback on the website, just let us know. Always adding to it, always improving it based on the feedback of you guys, and the feedback as always is fantastic. If you've got any, just drop it in Discord on the feedback channel, and if you do, I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.